So video games got full rights as an artistic medium. That's an awesome victory for gamers, and says good things about the culture in general. Now, I don't know when this will actually come out, but this is a recent event to me, and it has really gotten me thinking about my medium of choice, anime. Now, I'm the otaku. I can philosophize any aspect of otaku culture, and today I want to talk a bit about what I think our value as a medium is. But to get to the gold, you gotta dig through the dirt, so let's get a few bad things bogging us down out of the way first. Our medium, that is anime in general, has three major problems the way I see it. First of all, anime has a reputation in the minds of the general public. That it's either mindless, a la Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, or even Bleach, even though none of those are nearly as mindless as, let's say, Dancing with the Stars, or it's pornography, and weird pornography at that. The first problem leads us to the second problem, in that anime is a rather exclusive culture. We've talked about this before. You're either in or you're out. In general, anime doesn't have any mild fans or casual viewers. You're in or you're out, and oh heavens is it hard to get into. This culture has its own values, language, greetings. We almost have enough exclusivity to start our own nation. But that begs the question of whether or not we would pay taxes to the nation of anime, because the third and by far biggest problem our medium faces is that it's in a crisis. And I don't mean the creativity-deprived, sequel frenzy type of crisis video games are in right now. No, anime has creativity in spades, but more on that later. I mean that in a few years' time, anime could be reduced to only making shows for little kids, or maybe even worse, die out altogether. Anime is in a financial crisis. There's no money in it. Video games are doing fine. They actually outsold DVDs last year. They ain't going anywhere. But anime, that's another story. See, most people who do watch anime don't really buy it. They stream it or torrent it. And that's killing the medium. America only has 2 dubbing studios left, people. Japanese studios are having to rely on American dollars to finish big budget anime. The primetime anime block in Japan was recently replaced with reality shows. But the worst part of all of this is the general otaku reaction. From my experience, when I tell someone they shouldn't stream anime, they generally either shrug it off or act like they're entitled to watch whatever they want for free. We're still of those that acknowledge that they're hurting the industry, but they don't change their ways. Okay guys, I'll admit I do download via torrent, but only when I already own the DVDs. I mean, not to brag, but when I'm not in the Middle East, I spend around $200 a month on anime stuff. Sometimes more if I find something rare or a box set comes out. I love anime stuff. You should see my house. It's wall to wall, almost every room. This is the only way I can think of to support my industry, with my money. So when I see otaku reacting to Funimation filing lawsuits against illegal streamers by saying that Funimation hates anime and is only interested in money, all I can do is sigh. When I see a big fan-dubbing group get grilled, and people say it's a tragedy, I just shake my head. When I heard that people were really upset about the loss of one manga, I was appalled. Guys, those are the things that are killing the industry. Let me finish this with a story. Now, I've felt this way about anime for a little while, but last year I had the privilege of seeing Greg Aris, voice of Negi from Negima, do a panel about the state of the industry, where he more or less said the same thing I just did, but he said something personally afterwards that stuck with me and motivates me to act for this medium. He said, and I quote, "Sometimes I look at anime as it is and I think to myself, at least I got to be a part of it, you know? At least we had a good run." And what really gets me about that is that I sort of see where he's coming from. This could be the beginning of the end, guys. So enough of the bad. Why is anime worth proving that it's not just mindless hentai? Why is it worth getting into? Why is it worth saving from financial crisis? There are hundreds upon hundreds of reasons why this medium of ours is worth saving, but I'm going to list my personal top 3 reasons that I think anime isn't just a worthwhile medium, but it gets my vote for the best medium. Reason number 1. Perfection. Animation is frankly superior to live-action filmmaking, for a simple reason. It's easier. Every second of every frame of every anime ever made was made as the creator intended. Whereas live action is limited to special effects constraints, budget constraints, or maybe if the location even exists sort of constraints, or whatever. Anime has none of that. There is no limit to the scope that can be achieved via animation. Now, this is actually true of all animation, all cartoons, not just anime. However, with rare exception, anime always looks better than other forms of animation. Yes, we have our big-budget animated movies and our gorgeous works like Aeon Flux, but on the whole, anime looks better. I know that's somewhat subjective, but how about this? Consider the effort put into a single frame of an American show versus an anime, and the result should be clear that more effort, time, and thought was put into the anime, in general. Still a little too subjective? Well, here's a point only anime has. Reason number 2. What I like to call free-form expression through creation, when I'm being pretentious. What it really boils down to is the use of anime tropes and cliches. Remember in my Hellsing episode how I said that it was a parody of anime in general? The fact that anime has its own cliches and tropes to parody is something to be celebrated. In a perfect world, anime would be known for these cliches, so many of which have formed together to create new forms of expression. And that sounds pretty complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. The cat face, the sudden falling down of the stupid comment, the manly pose, the magical girl transformation, the Kamehameha blast, the giant robot. But deeper than that, anime has created characters through aesthetics. Characters with glasses are expected to act a certain way, and when they don't, it causes surprise and warrants an explanation. The same is true for children in anime. Men, heroes that use katanas, the list goes on. Anime has created its own way of expressing very specific ideas and concepts. I'm obviously not going to list every single trope when there's TV tropes to do it for me, but these tropes and cliches are something that makes this medium great. The slight alteration and combination of said tropes results in a unique form of expression that is surprisingly flexible. There's an anime-esque way to express any idea, generally without words. But it's also in the creation of plots. The combination of what would be two outrageous ideas in any other medium becomes commonplace in anime. We have little kids teaching middle school that are also magicians. Now it's due in one part to this freeform expression, and in one part to the cultural bridge anime has formed, that I give my third and by far biggest reason I think anime is a worthwhile endeavor. Philosophy. Did you expect anything less? I'm the Philosotaku. Now when I was a little kid, the first anime I saw was Sailor Moon. Hardy har har, I know. But it made me think, wow, it really stinks that Serena wants to just have a normal life, but she can't escape her duties. She just keeps getting attacked by monsters. And then I saw Dragon Ball Z and I thought to myself, hey, Gohan's a pacifist. He doesn't like fighting. So why is he fighting so much? Then I saw Digimon and the whole game changed for me because suddenly I was thinking about how a world different from ours, but similar, could exist side by side with ours. And I wondered what sort of effects my interactions in this world would have on that world, both in the short and the long term. Whenever I saw an anime, it generated thought within me. It had the greatest effect upon me. American shows didn't have that effect. My American shows just wanted to make me laugh or think an action scene was cool. They didn't care about these questions. They didn't inspire the mind the same way that anime did. Now those are really eloquent ways of putting my childish thoughts, but they still ring true. Philosophy means love of wisdom. And I think it's clear that this medium loves wisdom. Almost every anime I watch rings clear with deeper truth below the surface. No other medium has influenced my thinking as much as anime has. And that's not due to a lack of indulgence. Something about this combination we have, about the expression, about the cultural gap, about the tendency to arc things into large stories, about the focus on characters, I don't know, something seems to generate thought-invoking messages. Something creates experiences that are personal and memorable and sometimes life-changing. Anime fans are passionate for a reason, and I think this might be it. We are a medium more than worth defending. I think we're a medium worth living. The stereotypical otaku lifestyle, if you think about it, isn't that different from the life of a monk. But instead of being holed up studying the Bible or holy scriptures, an otaku is holed up studying anime. But if anime is a source for the generation of thought, then that isn't something to be ashamed of. This isn't a subject that needs to be justified with pretty women and action scenes. The generation of thought is a worthwhile endeavor in and of itself, and the study and expansion upon that thought is even more worthwhile. So I know this wasn't a review, but I think it's important. So you guys think all this over. I know it's something of a slow roast, but I'm the Philosotaku and I'll be serving knowledge all night.